Hello, and welcome to Color Commentary. I'm TJ, your average fan, and I'll be talking to you today about Disney Marvel's new show, Loki, Season 2, Episode 1. And we're going to get right into it. Spoilers! Okay, this was great. I'm back in fully like I was in Season 1. That was an awesome season, and this has started off to be great as well. I can't believe they did it. Gave me some shock and awe right off the bat, which means, of course, probably 2 episodes of just some hijinks, but seriousness involved. But this was serious. So we pick up right where we left off from season 1 with Loki getting kicked through the time door by Sylvie. Back and he runs to tell Mobius and B15 that he know about what had just happened, and they don't know him. So what happens? Well, they chase him through the TVA. They almost catch him after he done created a whole bunch of chaos with a car through a window and broke the little screen thing that they used to monitor the TVA, cracked the ground in there because I think it's like a tile. It's really nice. Yeah, he effed all that up before he almost got caught, and then he like whatever's happening to him, they're calling it a time slip. Yeah, it looks painful. Everybody keeps saying it looks painful, including Mobius, and I'm like, or Morpheus. I'm sorry, and I'm like, what the heck? What the heck is? And he talking about something. First, even when it happens, his whole body contorts like it's going in different directions and the same direction, all at different and the same time. It's messed up, and the sound he make ain't great, but it's a cool special effect. I tell you that. I like it. It definitely creeped me out. I was like, ooh, no, don't, no, yeah, yeah. I was with Morbius. I'm like, let's fix this time slipping thing. So after he ended up, I guess, time slipping to the present time he remembered, and they knew who he was, and he trying to get some help, and then he did it a couple of times. They just kept up with it, and then he figured out some stuff. One, they didn't figure out that it was time slipping from the guy who works way, way down in the basement named Ouroboros. Obi for short. And he's awesome. Obi's great. I love him. He's serious about his job. He knows his shit, and he ain't taking no. And he's not. His job is to make sure that the TVA don't fall apart, and he gonna do everything in his power to do that. So he making stuff happen down there, and don't nobody even know it. I like Ob. He cool. Anyway, his plan that he figured out is to build this thing that they're gonna attach to what is known as the time loom. It's this machine type thing that's been weaving together the threads of time into the perfect timeline that he who remains had running before he got killed, and it unraveled. So now all these new strings is effing up the loom that could be part of the time slipping. Also, the lights flickering and power shortages all throughout the time. The TVA is also a part of this too. So he also comes up with an idea to go out there and fix it, and to stop Loki from doing it, he gotta the time slipping. He gotta pull himself out of the time stream completely, and then get inside the TVA. That way he'll be safe. He's like a save file. That's what I thought about when it happened. When he described it, I'm like, so we're gonna make him like a save file of a very important program running on the operating system to take it off and be able to put it back when necessary. Interesting. I don't know that much about computers, but that's the best analogy that I could think of about what he described that they needed to do to Loki. So now we got a ticking clock because this loom was not meant to handle this many strands of the time, being broken and all the chaos we're seeing through phase 4 of Marvel right now. So yeah, it's a whole lot got to be done. Apparently Loki has to prune himself, so that sucks. And he keeps slipping back and forth from where? The present time, clearly the past, because they didn't know who he was. And when they get to this part of the plan where Mobius got to go out there to this thing in some suit, expose himself to what was called raw time, and that meaning that everything was going to be aging off of him until they got to him, and then he was going to age out of nothingness in order to plug this machine into this thing that's going to pull Loki out the timeline. And at the very moment that it happened, Loki got to prune himself. And if you know anything about season 1, you know what pruning is. It's not great. So that he can get pulled out of the timeline. Yeah, that was our ticking clock toward the end of this episode. And do we make it? Well, we don't know. Right when it started to get really important, Loki time slipped away to the future of the TVA, clearly because Morbius had just wrote in dust on one of the computers in the room they was in, and the dust was still there. So now we know this is a future time from where the point you was at, because we knew it was a past time because he cracked the floor, and then he went to the present, and the floor was cracked. So, and they didn't have that window with the mirror, with the outside view no more. They had a whole wall up there in the present time. So they was like, yeah, we're not going to let that happen again with the car crashing through it. They remembered that, but they didn't remember him. Interesting. Just thought about that point. Yeah. How did that work? Because that had to be why they changed it. Now it's a wall. Okay, sure. So, in the process of all of this, when Loki did finally come to the president enough to tell this council that was being holding the meeting to figure out what the heck just happened with all this revelations, 2 people, mind you, all in this council, and a hot-headed B agent. So, the meeting was deep and hard, and everybody made good points. But at the same time, the main point was we can't go back to doing what we were doing, just killing people off. That ain't cool. Hundreds of millions, if not billions of people, every time we start pruning timelines. There's got to be another way to do this. Got to be. So one of Obi's ideas is he gonna cut it off, so he can fix it. In order to do that, they gotta completely shut off the TVA from exposure to the raw timeline, because that was a big part of what was controlling it. So yeah, again with the ticking clock. Here we go. Of course, Morbius don't want to give up on him. He's not pruning himself because he got to find a pruning stick because of where he jumped himself off, where the time slipped him to. So he running through the TVA looking for a pruning stick, and then he hear a phone ringing down the hallway, and now we get him going down the hallway with no sense of time. It seemed like. Or they were just doing slow motion and they tried to do it in backwards forward motion. So now Obi's like, I gotta hit the button to shut everything down, close these gates and walls and stuff, bro. You gotta come on back in, man. He ain't gonna make it. Too bad, so sad. It was a hard, long countdown. Obi did not want to do it, but at the end of it all, he hit the button. And so now Morbius is trying to run back and get back and hoping that Loki somehow make it. But the suit ain't working out so well. I don't think he's gonna make it. And then a shining light appears out of nowhere. And what was this light? It was Loki. But how was it Loki? Oh well, on his side of the scene, this phone ringing drew him down the hallway where this elevator was being pried open from the inside. He look and he see it's Sylvie. She like, oh, I've been there you are. Like she been looking for him. You know what I'm saying? And so he happy to see her because he been trying to get to her back to her rather, because she kicked him through a time door. Ever since she kicked him through a time door. And because he brought her up to the counselors, one of them going off the deeper end with all these B agents to hunt her down somewhere, wherever she may be in the timeline, and take her out because it's all her fault. So they out of control. That's the B-roll on the story that we got going. Somehow we got to deal with trying to save Sylvie from the rogue B agents, as well as fix this issue with the whole TVA being about to be blown up. So yeah, it's a lot happening. But he never found the stick. So he got pruned from the back, and they don't show you who pruned him. So clearly it's somebody. Well, I can't say clearly. Now again, I just said it. They don't show you. So frustrating. More mystery. And are they dangerous to Sylvie? Was Sylvie with them and they just didn't want him to come back and find her? Do they know about him time slipping? Do they have something to do with it? So many questions. So here comes this light, and he's being pulled out of the timeline because he did it just in time. And he's so out of control with it because he on this rope that's just swinging. Yeah, he ended up ramming himself into Morbius, and they both fly through the freaking door before it got sealed. So they both saved. Yay, more show. Of course they were going to be saved. It wouldn't be a show without it. But it was still dramatic and heart wrenching when he got pruned because you're like, ooh, who did that? Because he was going to miss that deadline. He was going to miss it. But man, is there somebody trying to keep him on track? Like, they need him to fix this issue, you know? And I don't know. Those are my thoughts and theories about this situation. Because that's as far as they've got. Oh, wow. So good, so good. We've started off so good. Tom Hiddleston is so great as Loki. You know, I love Owen Wilson. He's great in anything. Him and his brother. I like Luke Wilson too. But, yeah. Anyway, Loki is back, y'all. So if you didn't watch season 1, get on that. It's worth every watch. And then once this season hits the ball rolling, literally where they left off, you're going to be so glad you did. That's this week's episode, and I will see you guys next time for another one. In the meantime, have a great day.